So I'm hearing, stoop kids afraid to leave a stoop. Stoop kids afraid to leave a stoop. I think it's from Hey Arnold. I'm definitely aging myself with that one. But it does feel like it's relevant to the message that I'm receiving today. So I am receiving a message of there is like right now you are being guided to soul family. You're being guided to like minded people. You're being guided to people who are, you're kind of weird, like on the same level, kind of weird as you are. And it feels like you are having a hard time releasing some of the stories that you have around relationship dynamics and around getting close to somebody, trusting people. Like it feels like I'm talking to somebody who's had a lot of pain in relationships, has been through like a lot of really not great endings when it comes to relationships, a lot of betrayals, a lot of being taken advantage of, a lot of not feeling understood in relationships and dynamics. And you've done so much work. Like, I feel like you don't recognize how much work you've actually done leading up into this point. And you've released a lot of those relationships at this point in time. And so I feel like you're not really recognizing like how far you have come from letting those same dynamics back into your space. And I am hearing like that there's a fear that your boundaries won't be tough enough or you're not going to be able to stand up for your, and I feel like you don't learn that by not doing it. So like this avoidance is you kind of playing into your shadow a little bit, like you're engaging in your shadow a little bit in regards to you're letting it win, right? Like the shadow I'm talking to is like this fear of intimacy, this fear of closeness. And you are like letting that win by not learning how to do that differently, but instead avoiding it at all costs, right? Stoop kid doesn't want to leave a stoop. He's afraid to leave a stoop. Like you're too afraid to even try, which is kind of keeping you in this more isolated energy, in this more isolated space, and you're being asked to let yourself try so that you can learn. And trial and error is coming through. So, like, you learn through trial and error. You learn by doing, not by avoiding. And you can't think yourself into understanding or learning, right? Like, that's the other thing that's coming through. So I feel like the collective that I'm talking to today to are like people who feel like they can think their way through things or have been able to do that. And I'm sure you have been able to do that when it comes to certain things. But when it comes to this kind of thing, you can't do that. And what's coming up is, during COVID, I was a therapist at the time, in private practice, and I worked at a hospital setting too. And during that time, a lot of children were like struggling. They were having a lot of social anxiety, and even adults were having struggles with anxiety and social anxiety. A lot of books came out around that time because of that. And the reasoning is because if you don't use certain skills, we lose them. You don't use it, you lose it. Okay. And so if you're not using certain skills, they're going to get really uncomfortable. And like I just heard this the other day too with like leaving the house. If you don't start leaving the house little by little, then you will get more and more comfortable and it will make it harder for you to leave the house. And it also brings up depression and anxiety and all of those things too. So like anything that you want to do really does take practice and the movement to and the choice to try and move yourself forward. So I'm hearing like you need to give yourself a chance and let yourself connect with other people so that you can start to sharpen your discernment around like who is meant for you and who's not, and also learn how to build trust in relationships. And so the other thing that's coming through too is like trust isn't something that you give away right away, right? It's something that you build over time. So, it shows up with like consistency and reliability and just paying attention to how people show up and how they respond to things, right? And so I do feel like I'm talking to somebody who has really been like very loving and very like open bookish energy is kind of what's coming through, and just like really wanting connection, so kind of putting everything on the table. And and then we're going to the extreme, right, which is kind of what I'm talking about today, is like you were that you got burned so many times, now you don't put your hand out at all in case you're going to get burned. And we're on the complete opposite side, right? So it's like this kind of black and white kind of way of moving through things. It's like all in or all out, right? Like, and you're being asked to learn how to start moving inward and start turning towards connection and start turning towards leaving the house feels very specific. So I don't know if it's that you don't leave the house at all, or you haven't in a while, or you avoid that, but that's a part of this too, right? It's like choosing to turn towards letting yourself learn how to move differently in the world. And it's not about putting your whole hand on the table and getting burnt, right? It's about learning how to put yourself out there in small little ways and building over time with people, and learning how to do that in like a healthy way. And so you're being asked to shift some of the stories that you have around trust and safety in relationships, and kind of like what a healthy relationship looks like, I guess, too, in some ways. Because I feel like, because I'm talking to somebody who's very black and white, all in or all out, like it feels like you also see relationship things like that too. And so really the reality is the gray area is where we need to be. That's where happiness truly is. And so it's learning how to step into that gray area and move from that space, rather than this all or nothing space that's always going to keep us polarized on one side or the other. And so I do see a lot of like soul relationships coming towards you, and connections coming towards you, but right now you're blocking them because you're not putting yourself out there to meet them. And you are keeping yourself so hidden. And I'm seeing like a hermit crab in like a shell. You're keeping yourself so closed off that you're having a hard time really like connecting and letting those things in. But there's a part of you that's really craving connection. So it's about learning to do it in a healthy way. And I do see like really beautiful relationships out there waiting for you once you do start to step into this space and learn how to do this. Now, I'm not saying all of them are going to be positive and good. That's where your discernment comes in. But I do see like beautiful things coming towards you as long as you can open yourself up to them. So if this resonates with you, please leave me a star in the comments. And if you do need help with this kind of stuff, I help people restory. I help people kind of move through relationship stuff. I was a licensed marriage and family therapist. I am actually. I do coaching, empowerment coaching. I offer psychic readings to help people with blocks and stuff and help you move through different things. I do spiritual guided work. I offer prompt journals. Take a peek in my bio. I'm sure there's something in there for you. And I love you so much. You got this.